starts now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Lawler.
And I'm Alex Forbes. Man, I tell you what, when you stepped outside this morning, you felt that chill in the air.
I knew that I was going to need a jacket, and I did need the jacket. Thank goodness I brought it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it is a busy travel weekend, and a lot of people headed up to Atlanta to the airport, and we are taking a live look there this morning at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. It's seasonably cool up there as well as here in central Georgia. So let's take a look at current temperatures across the area. 53 degrees here in Macon, 55 down in Warner Robins, 57 in Montezuma, and 59 in Americus right now at 7 a.m. So there's all that rain that we saw yesterday. It's off the Atlantic coast. We're under the influence of that high pressure that you see up there in Illinois and Indiana, and that rain up in Kansas and Nebraska not really going to affect our forecast in the next few days. So here's a look at your day ahead. Highs only in the low to mid 80s today in Suzanne. Tuesday marks the start of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. So we'll take a look at the forecast for that and see what we're expecting as we head into the summer months and into the fall.
Hopefully a quiet season.
Well, I've got bad news.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Love that jazz event there, Alex.
Yes, Suzanne, this weekend is the last weekend for middays on the, or May Days on the Midway.
Yeah, it's a little tongue twister.
Yes, our 54 degrees in Perry. It's certainly cool out there across central Georgia this morning. That high pressure to our north is in control of our weather as that rain from yesterday continues to exit. We're headed to a high of 83 degrees today with below average temperatures. We'll talk about your Memorial Day forecast and the hurricane season coming up in just a few minutes.
So I got the lawn mowed yesterday. That was great. And boy, these cool temperatures, I just feel like, wow, we are so lucky to have these this far into, late spring, early summer.
Yeah, I was just looking back in our climatological history. Memorial Day weekend 2 years ago, 2019, we hit a high of 99. So
I know. Yes, it can get really, really hot. So once again, just so thankful.
Yes, and we are about half that outside right now. 55 is the current temperature in Warner Robins, 53 in Macon, 57 up there in Milledgeville and in Sparta. And take a look at where we stand compared to this time yesterday morning. We are 16 degrees cooler in Macon, 15 degrees cooler in Warner Robins and in Butler, Marshallville. Certainly an effect from that cold front that we saw roll through the area yesterday. So we're going to warm up through the 70s through the late morning, early afternoon hours, eventually to a high of about 83 degrees, which is below average for this time of year. Then we'll cool off again tonight, actually, 59 degrees with a north wind, sunset around 8:30. For Memorial Day tomorrow, a high temperature of 86, so a little warmer than today, but it's still going to be a beautiful day with lots of sun. We can't find any rain on the radar, at least in our area. We did have some storms off the Atlantic coast last night. That's that same cold front that rolled through, but we are going to remain dry through the day today. And as I mentioned earlier, hurricane season starts this week, and forecasters from Noaa are expecting an above average season. The forecast is for 13 to 20 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes. Now, we already had our first storm of the season. That was Anna. That was subtropical storm Anna. That was active last week. It didn't affect any land. And one thing I want to note about these numbers, just because that's the forecast, it doesn't mean all those storms would affect land. It's just what we're expecting as we roll through hurricane season, which lasts until November 30th. Now, here's a look at future view. Notice that northeast wind that we're going to see today, not a northwest wind like we'd usually see after a cold front. So what's called a backdoor cold front will be in our area through the day today. But then tomorrow that wind will shift and be more northerly as we roll through Memorial Day. We might have a few high-level thin cirrus clouds for your Memorial Day, but we are not looking at any major weather as we roll through the rest of the holiday weekend. As we get into next week, though, that story does change a little bit. The clouds begin to build back in on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's some isolated showers in the area Wednesday afternoon, about a 30% chance of rain on Wednesday. But then as we get into Thursday and Friday, that's when we really start to see our rain chances go up to about 60%. And next weekend looks wet as well, unfortunately. At least that's what we're seeing now in our models. So the chance of rain through the remainder of the holiday weekend at 0. We are up to 30% on Wednesday and then 60% chance of rain on Thursday. And in terms of how much rain we're talking about, we could see over an inch in a lot of areas between now and next Sunday morning. So certainly needed across central Georgia, as we have been in somewhat of a deficit over the past week and a half to 2 weeks or so. We are going to finish May below average in terms of rainfall for central Georgia in most locations. So there's all the rain that we're expecting through the end of next week. But like I said, for the next 3 days, Suzanne, we are looking at a lot of sun for Sunday and Memorial Day. But again, next week, as we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, a 60% chance of rain with those high temperatures in the upper 80s. So not 99 like last Memorial Day as we start June and roll through the beginning of the unofficial start of summer. Suzanne? All right, let's take a live look from Atrium Navicent in downtown Macon. Temperatures in the 50s this morning, 53 degrees. It's not raining. Not sure what's up with that sensor. West-south wind at 5 miles an hour. We're headed to a high of 83 degrees today. And tomorrow, just a little warmer for your Memorial Day forecast. Coming up, we'll take a look at that, and we'll take a sneak preview of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. See what forecasters are expecting for that as we start the season on June 1st on Tuesday. More after this.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Lawler.
And I'm Alex Forbes. It's Memorial Day weekend here in central Georgia. Lots of people headed out of town, but some staying in town.
I think they're already out of town. If
Yes,
you were heading
yeah.
out, you're gone. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I know where I wish I was, but I'm glad I'm here. But that would be St. Augustine, Florida.
Love St. Augustine.
Let's take a live look at that. So
wow.
This is St. Augustine Beach. Imagine being out there on that boat right now, cruising by the coast on the Atlantic Ocean. So like I said, lots of people out of town, maybe a few of them down in St. Augustine right now. But here in central Georgia, we are seasonably cool. You step outside this morning, temperatures are in the 50s, 53 here in Macon, 55 in Gordon, 57 in Sandersville and in Wrightsville. Vidalia has hit 60, or at least 61 degrees, and we are going to only go up from there this afternoon. We're still going to be below the average high temperature of about 88 degrees. 83 is going to be our high. We'll warm through the 70s through the late morning hours and into the early afternoon before hitting that 80-degree mark. And Suzanne, Tuesday marks the start of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. We already used the name Anna, so we'll take a look at the forecast for what we're expecting for this upcoming hurricane season. It's just go ahead and tell you up front, we're expecting another active season, but not as active as last year. So I'll break down the numbers and see how that's shaping up as we head into the summer and into the fall.
Sounds fantastic. All right, thanks so much. Yep. Time now to check in with Alex Forbes.
Yes, Suzanne, let's go down to Lawrence County, city of Dublin, between Bellevue and Academy Streets at Dublin City Hall. Temperatures in the upper 50s there, 57 degrees in Lawrence County. Elsewhere across the area, we're all in the 50s except for Vidalia, sitting at 61 degrees right now. And for the rest of the day today, we're going to warm through the 60s and into the 70s, eventually to a high of 83 degrees, which is below the average. But we'll take a look at your Memorial Day forecast coming up in just a minute.
All right. How many people are going to follow that cue this weekend doing that? Probably not for honeydews and melons and things like that, but you know.
Yeah, you know, I tell you what, I would have loved to have been that elephant about 2 years ago on Memorial Day because we hit 99 degrees.
Oh yeah, that was a rough one.
Yes,
right.
But this year, we're not going to be close to that. In fact, we're far from it right now in Warner Robins, which is where you're looking live right now out there at Watson Boulevard. Temperature of 52 degrees there in Houston County with the northwest wind at 5 miles an hour. We're in the 50s area wide, with the only exception being Vidalia sitting at 61 right now, 57 in Monticello, 54 in Forsyth, 57 in Montezuma, and we're close to 60 in Americus, almost there, about 40 minutes after 7 now on your Sunday morning. Take a look at where we are now compared to 24 hours ago. So yesterday morning, we're 16 degrees cooler in Macon, 15 degrees cooler in Warner Robins. Let's see, can we find anything higher? No, Macon takes the cake with the biggest cool down from yesterday compared to today. Now today we're going to warm through the 60s and 70s through the late morning, early afternoon hours, eventually to a high of about 83 degrees, which is below the average. Our average high for May 30th is 88 degrees, so we're running 5 to 7 degrees below average today. Then again tonight, we're going to cool off into the 50s. 59 degrees is going to be the overnight low here in central Georgia, mostly clear. It's going to be fairly cool with a sunset around 8:37. Then the sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:30 on your Memorial Day. High temperature warmer than today. 86 degrees is going to be the high, but is still below average for your Memorial Day. Like I said, 2 years ago, we hit 99 on Memorial Day, so it could be much worse as we wrap up the month of May. Live radar, we are quiet across central Georgia. You've got to go off the Atlantic coast, off of St. Simons and Savannah. We saw a few thunderstorms there last night. Elsewhere across the southeast, just a few high, thin cirrus clouds above the state of Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama. Now, Tuesday, June 1st, marks the start of the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season, and forecasters from Noaa are expecting an above-average hurricane season again. Now, we're not going to be as active as 2020 was. We broke all sorts of records last year. This year, we're looking at 13 to 20 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes. And one thing I want to note is that these numbers don't denote the amount of storms that hit land. This is how many we're expecting to see throughout the duration of the season. All right, let's walk through the rest of today. Notice that wind coming out of the northeast today associated with a backdoor cold front. That's going to keep our temperatures below average, like I was talking about just a minute ago. And as we roll the clock through Monday, notice that wind becomes more easterly, and we'll start to see some clouds build back in on your Memorial Day. Then as we head into next week, we are looking at some clouds again on Tuesday before we start to introduce a rain chance on Wednesday. 30% chance of rain with those scattered showers. And then on Thursday, we're looking at a 60% chance of rain across central Georgia, and it's just a mess there on the models. We'll have to fine tune that forecast as we start next week. So put numbers to it all. 0% chance of rain from today through Tuesday, 30% on Wednesday, and 60% on Thursday. Now, how much rain are we talking about? This is the 7-day rainfall forecast from Noaa. Notice those blues there, over an inch. So this is from this morning all the way to next Sunday morning. So we could be looking at 1 inch to 2 inches across parts of central Georgia as we move into next week. Here's how that all fits into your 7-day forecast. High temperatures in the 80s. Through Tuesday, we could reach 90 on Wednesday. That's when that 30% chance of rain begins. And then Suzanne, a 60% chance of rain on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Last night that there are a lot of my friends who have high school seniors that graduated, you know. And it was,
as you said,
like, yeah.
'Tis the season. And I'll tell you what, I'm so happy that those seniors got to have graduation.
Absolutely.
Last year with COVID and all, it was just a mess, and people were having to do drive-through graduations.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, they were really creative last year. So
very creative. I kind of hope we keep a blend of that. I loved those drive-by parades.
Yes. Yeah. We can do them both.
Do them both. There you
And
go.
I'll tell you what, if you're doing a drive-by graduation this week, you might have a rain chance for it as we head through the remainder of the week. Not the beginning part. We're looking at nothing through Tuesday, then a 30% chance of rain on Wednesday, and it ticks up to 60% on Thursday. As for the rest of the day today, we're going to warm through the 60s and 70s, eventually to a high of about 83 degrees, which is below the average of 88 for May 30th, and for Memorial Day tomorrow, a high of 86 degrees, winds out of the east 5 to 10 miles an hour with a sunrise at 6:30 in the morning. So a fantastic Memorial Day forecast. Certainly get outside and enjoy it while also remembering the reason for the day.
Absolutely, and I don't know what I'm more impressed by, that we're only going to be 83 or our high, or the average is only 88, because it seems like so many years we're so much farther than that on the mercury.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, in central Georgia, the heat feels different from elsewhere in the United States. So it might say 86, but to me, that's still kind of hot.
Exactly. All right. Coming up next at the show at the top of the hour, we will have a live report. In just a few minutes, we'll bring you the latest on a shooting that happened at the Georgia National Fairgrounds last night. Of course, we will have more weather with Alex, so stay with us for more Weekend Morning.
13 WMAZ Weekend Morning starts now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Lawler.
And I'm Alex Forbes. It is Sunday on your Memorial Day weekend, a holiday weekend here in central Georgia. It's seasonably cool this morning. You step outside, you feel the crispness of the air. It almost felt like fall, if you ask me.
Right, and last weekend we were talking about watch out for the heat index,
Yeah.
you know, keep yourself hydrated, don't take your pets out. What a change in 7 days.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, where it is not 50 degrees, and that is St. Augustine, Florida. Now, I wouldn't mind being in St. Augustine, Florida right now,
sure.
but, you know, just look at that shot. Earlier when we were checking this out, we saw a boat come by, and I would love to be on a boat out there. In fact, it looks like there's some people in the water there just off the coast now.
Could be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at 8 o'clock. All right, so 57 degrees is the current temperature in Macon, 52 in Warner Robins, 63 in Vidalia, 61 in Sparta, and 61 in Milledgeville. So starting to get some 60s on the map here at 8 a.m. Across the southeast, they've got 40s up there in northern Georgia. Blairsville doesn't have a temperature on it, but that blue there is 40 degrees, 66 in Augusta, 66 in Jacksonville, 63 in Pensacola, and 50 in Meridian, Mississippi. For today, we're looking at a high temperature of 83 degrees with what's called a backdoor cold front rolling through. Now, you're not going to feel much impact from that cold front. The only noticeable change is instead of a northwest wind like we usually see after a normal cold front, which we saw yesterday, we're going to have a northeast wind. So our air, if you will be coming from South Carolina in the Augusta area as opposed to Columbus and western Georgia. So there's a little tidbit of information for you. Coming up, we'll take a look at your Memorial Day forecast for tomorrow and rain chances returning this week.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Thanks a lot, Alex.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yes, it certainly is.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just no words for it. But Suzanne, check out the radar behind me. We're quiet now in central Georgia. That's not going to be the case this week, though. You've got to go all the way down off the Atlantic coast to find any rain. And speaking of the Atlantic, the 2021 hurricane season starts this week on Tuesday, June 1st. We'll take a look at the forecast for that and what we can expect for the upcoming season, which runs through November. More after this. 13 WMAZ meteorologist Alex Forbes here with you on this Sunday morning. It's seasonably cool outside, but we're going to see an unsettled pattern this week with hurricane season starting on Tuesday. Temperatures across the areas in the upper 50s now, 57 in Macon, 58 in Warner Robins, 61 there in Americus, as well as in Dublin and in Wrightsville, Sparta and Milledgeville. A popular number on the map this morning, and we're going to warm through the 60s and the 70s eventually to a high of in the low 80s today. We are 17 degrees cooler in Warner Robins than we were this time yesterday morning. 10 degrees cooler in Soperton, 13 degrees cooler in Roberta, and 13 degrees cooler in Thomaston. So you step outside, you certainly feel that chill in the air. Like I said, we're going to warm through the 60s and 70s, eventually to a high of about 83 degrees, which is below the average for today. Our average high is 88 for May 30th. Then tonight, we're going to cool off into the 50s again under mostly clear skies, and the winds will be out of the north at about 5 miles an hour. The sun will set just after 8:30. Now we do have chances for rain as we move through the middle to end of this week. We're looking at nothing really through Tuesday. We're fine through Memorial Day, and then Wednesday and Thursday we're sitting at 30 and 60% chances for rain. Now for Memorial Day, we're looking at 86 degrees as the high for tomorrow. Winds out of the east at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And like I said, the sun will rise at about 6:30. Take a look at live radar. We can't find much out there. You've got to go off the Atlantic coast, and the Atlantic coast is where you would find the tropics. And speaking of tropics, the hurricane season for 2021 will start on Tuesday. And as for the forecast for that, we're expecting 13 to 20 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes. That's the official forecast from Noaa. And one thing I want to note is we are not talking about storms hitting the United States. We're talking about total storms through the season. Back here in central Georgia, let's take a look through the next few days. And we notice a northeast wind today that's going to be associated with what's called a backdoor cold front. Then tomorrow, that wind will become more easterly. Temperatures will be able to warm up a little more. And we'll just see a few high-level, thin cirrus clouds for Memorial Day on Monday. Then as we roll the clock forward into the start of the week, we'll see a few more clouds before rain. Scattered showers begin on Wednesday, and those will become more widespread on Thursday and Friday. And unfortunately, next weekend looks wet as well. Roll the clock forward there through Saturday. You see both models have us in rain chances for extended period of time. Now, how much rain are we talking about? Generally north of an inch for most of central Georgia. This is the 7-day forecast rain totals from Noaa, and what this means is from now until next Sunday morning, how much rain could we see in the area, and it's giving us anywhere from 3/4 to an inch to just over an inch. The further east you are, I think the more rain you'll see as we get into the latter part of the week. So there are those rain chances, 30% chance of rain on Wednesday, and then a 60% chance of rain on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But before we get there though, temperatures are going to be in the 80s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Certainly a fantastic finish to the end of your holiday weekend into the start of the week before we turn wet again on Wednesday. Here's what's coming up in sports.
I had French fries last night, but I don't eat them 3 times a week. I think that one doctor had it right. Just be things in moderation.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you what, some Chick-fil-A French fries with some Chick-fil-A sauce hits the spot for me. So, good news for me. Verify worked out. Rain is not in our forecast for the next few days. It's sitting off the Atlantic coast. We've got nothing to worry about in the precipitation department. For the remainder of the day, we're going to warm through the 60s and 70s, eventually to a high of 83. We'll have more right after this.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Lawler.
And I'm Alex Forbes. It's Sunday morning on your Memorial Day weekend, and it's kind of cool outside.
Yeah, interesting, just as you've been talking about weather today, that I thought yesterday was nice, and boy, today's going to be even nicer, it seems.
Yes, a few degrees cooler. Now, yesterday we had that cold front work through during the day. So today that cold front is through here, so we finally have that air mass in place that's going to keep us in the low 80s today instead of the mid to upper 90s like we saw last week.
All right.
And I'll tell you what, a lot of people traveling this weekend, and if you flew out of Georgia, odds are you went out of Hartsfield Jackson. We're up in Atlanta where they have a lot of blue skies in the area right now. Temperatures across the Peach State in the 50s and 60s, 57 in Macon, 58 in Warner Robins, 60 in Montezuma, 61 in Americus just after 8:30. Now we are significantly cooler than we were this time yesterday. 15 degrees cooler in Thomaston, 14 degrees cooler here in Macon, 10 degrees cooler up in Eatonton and down in McRae. As we head through the day today, we're going to go through the 60s and 70s, eventually to a high of about 83 degrees, which is below the average for May 30th. 88 is our average high. And Suzanne, the hurricane season starts on Tuesday. We'll take a look at the hurricane season forecast from Noaa. A lot of people spend a lot of time looking over the information for the hurricane season. Sure. And we'll talk about whether or not we'll see an active season or not as we head into the summer and fall.
All right, interesting conversation. Thanks a lot, Alex. Alex, normally I would say, after 7 it's nice and cool, but we get those nice cool temperatures all day.
Yes, we do. High temperatures only in the low 80s. Here's a look at Dublin from the Fred Roberts Building, City Hall there between Bellevue and Academy Streets. 63 degrees is the current temperature in Lawrence County with the humidity sitting at 63%. Here's a look at the rest of the day. Today, temperatures going to warm through the 60s and 70s, eventually to a high of about 83 degrees. We'll have more details on your forecast and we'll look at the hurricane season coming up right after this.
Hard to believe, yes, sir, that today's going to be cooler than yesterday. I got out and mowed the backyard. I like to do it, one at a time, back or front. So I don't know what I'm going to do today because the yard work's done.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if you didn't get a chance to mow your lawn yesterday, today's going to be a fantastic day to do it because we are going to be seasonably cool across the area. Here's a look at your headlines. Seasonably cool today, unsettled pattern later this week, and hurricane season starts on Tuesday. Let's take a look at current temperatures across the area. We're at 61 in Macon, 59 still in Warner Robins, 60 in Cochran, 61 in Eastman, and 63 in Swainsboro coming up here on 9 o'clock. Here's where we are compared to this time yesterday. 15 degrees cooler than 8:43 a.m. on your Saturday, 14 degrees cooler in Roberta as well as in Butler, 12 degrees cooler in Unadilla as we roll on through the morning. All right, so here's a look at the day today. 63 degrees by 9 a.m., 74 by noon. We're going to roll through the 70s into the low 80s and stop there. 83 is going to be our high temperature today, which is below the average of 88, which is, again, the average for May 30th. As for tonight, we're going to dip back down into the 50s briefly for your overnight low of 59 degrees under mostly clear skies. It's going to be fairly cool. The sun will set just after 8:30 tonight. And then for your Memorial Day tomorrow, a fantastic day. Certainly get outside and enjoy it. 86 degrees is going to be the high. So like I said, get outside and enjoy it. And of course, remember the reason for the day, Memorial Day, which occurs at the end of every May. Here's a look at live radar. We can't find any rain across central Georgia or much of the southeast for that matter. The closest rain on land is up there in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Do have some storms off in the Atlantic. They're not tropical in nature, but speaking of tropics, hurricane season does start on Tuesday. June 1st marks the start of the season. As for the forecast, NOAA forecasters are expecting 13 to 20 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes. Now, I want to note, these numbers are not the number of storms that would hit land. It's the number of storms that forecasters are expecting to occur in the entire Atlantic basin from June 1st to November 30th. And of course, we already had our first named storm of the season last week, subtropical storm Noaa, which didn't impact any land. It was only active for about 3 days. So let's take a look at central Georgia through the remainder of your holiday weekend and into the start of next week. Some thin high-level cirrus clouds possible to the northeast wind today. We have what's called a backdoor cold front influencing our weather. So instead of winds coming out of the northwest like we normally see after a cold front, which rolled through yesterday, we're going to see winds out of the northeast today. And that's going to be the case as we roll through the remainder of the day. Tomorrow they become more easterly, coming from just south of the Augusta area, and we'll start to see a few more clouds tomorrow, and that will be the case as we start next week. We don't have to worry about any rain through Monday, Tuesday, and really most of us will stay dry on Wednesday, about a 30% chance of rain with those afternoon showers and storms. But then once we get into about Thursday and Friday, we start to see some more widespread rainfall. You see that Euro model has some more rain over us than the GFS on Thursday, but then on Friday it's the opposite. The GFS has some more rain and the Euro has less rain for us on Friday. So we're working out those details. As of now, a 60% chance of rain on both days, and unfortunately, I think that's going to stick around through next weekend as well. Now, how much rain are we talking about? Generally speaking, between 3/4 of an inch to just over an inch. That's the forecast from the National Weather Service over the next 7 days. So from this morning all the way to next Sunday morning, that is what we are expecting. Your 7-day forecast shapes up like this. High temperatures in the 80s today, tomorrow, and on Tuesday. We'll touch 90 on Wednesday before we're back in the 80s with that rain chance on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Suzanne?
Man, I haven't heard about Rich Little in years. Of course, CBS Sunday Morning follows Weekend Morning and all of that. Of course, we want to hear one last check on your beautiful forecast with Alex.
Yes, cooler today. 83 is going to be our high temperature, but we got to get there first. So we're going to go through the 70s for the remainder of the morning and then into the early afternoon. And the average high for this time of year is 88. So we're running 5 to 7 degrees below that. 59 is going to be the overnight low tonight. The sun will set around 8:37 tonight, and Suzanne, we've been talking about it all morning. Rain chances will return next week. 30% chance of rain with a high temperature of 91 on Wednesday before we return to the 80s and a 60% chance of rain on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But check out your Memorial Day forecast right there, a high temperature of 86. So certainly get outside and enjoy it. And of course, remember the reason for the holiday for Memorial Day.
Absolutely. I am fascinated by that 7-day, though, the backdoor cold front.
Yes.
And then it keeps us, almost seems like it keeps us out of that 95, 99 for the entire week.
Yes, and our next weather maker is also going to keep us in the 80s. When we get rain, it typically keeps our temperatures lower than they could be because the clouds block the sun rays from reaching the Earth's surface.
And I would imagine we are going to hear a lot more next week about the beginning of hurricane season.
Yes, that does start on Tuesday, and we're looking at an above average season. Not as busy as last year, but
That's
still.
good. Yeah, we went through the entire alphabet last year.
Yes, where I think it was 13 to 20 named storms is the forecast for this year.
But that still seems like a lot of storms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will stay tuned and keep it posted. And thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. We'll see you back here tonight for 13 WMAZ News at 11.
The news continues now on 13WMAZ.com. Have a great day. CBS Sunday Morning is next.
Take care, everyone.